In this video, we're going to go through on Henry Park Primary School 2024 Preliminary Examination Mathematics Primary 6 Paper 1 Booklet A. So let's get started on the first question. So it says here, what's the basic number in the box? 80,000 plus 4,000 plus 300 plus 7. So I'm going to show you how the working will look like. Okay, so the working will look something like this. I draw the rectangle so that's easier for you to write down the number. So in this case, the first three digits is 307, right? 000, so it's 307 is 307. Next one is 84. So the answer to this is 84,307. So in this case, option number 3 is the correct answer. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 2. The mass of a table is 11 kg when rounded to the nearest kilogram. Which of the following cannot be the mass of the table? So in this case, 11 when rounded to the nearest kilogram. So essentially, it should be 10.5 or more. Okay, so we're looking for answers that's 10.5 or more, or 11 11.4 or less. All right, so these are the two numbers that we're looking for. Okay, so I think first answer already says it all. Okay, so for the rest itself, yep, you could see that this is correct except for option number 1. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 3. Express 5 2 over 25 as a decimal. So usually to get fractions to decimal, basically get denominator to 10, 100 or 1000. Okay, so in this case we have 5. Okay, 5 will be 5. Okay, the whole number is 5. So the one that we're concerned more about is the 2 out of 25. Okay, so what do you think you can multiply 2 out of 25 with? Okay, so can 25 be either of this number? 10? Not really. 100? Yeah, can. So that means for this, we can just multiply this by 4. If the denominator is multiplied by 4, the numerator also is multiplied by 4. So in this case, what will be 2 out of 25 times 4 for both numerator and denominator? So 2 times 4 is 8, and then the denominator will be 100. So that means this is just 8 out of 100, or the same as 8, right, divided by 100, which should be equal to, is it 8 or 0.08? 0.08, okay. So 525 is 0.08. So in this case, is this answer. So 525, 5 out of 2 out of 5 will be equal to, right, 5 plus 0.08, right? 5 plus 0.08, which will become 5.08. There you go. So that's the answer. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, question number 4. Okay, it says here, which of the following is likely the mass of a 10 50-cent coins? So one 50-cent coin is roughly, you can think of like what is 7,000 grams, 700 grams, 70 grams as well. So in this case, usually 150-cent coin should be 7 grams. Okay, so 10 50-cent coins, right, should be 10 times 7, which is 70 grams. So the answer should be option number 2. Okay, let's move on to question number 5. Mabel slept at 20:45 and wakes up at 06:10 the next day. How long did she sleep? Okay, so from 20:45 to 2400. Okay, let's make it simple, right? 2100. Okay, actually, I just make this closer so it's easier. Okay, so this will be equal to 15 minutes, right? 15 minutes. Okay, and then 2100 to 2400 equal to 3 hours. Then 000 to 0610, and this will be 6 hours and 10 minutes. So if we add together, so total time will be 15 plus 3 hours, so 15 minutes, right? Okay, plus 3 hours plus 6 hours and 10 minutes. Okay, you will see that it will be equal to, so I think the minutes pretty straightforward. It will be 25 minutes, and then 3 hours plus 6 hours, 9 hours and 25 minutes. So this is option number 1. Okay, let's move on. So it's easier to just put your uh, time to the closest next hour so that you can minus easily lah. Okay, next one. Question number 6. A box contained brown balls and yellow balls in the ratio of 3 is to 7. Okay, so I'll just put brown. Brown is 3 units, and then yellow is 7 units. Okay, so there were 84 more yellow balls than brown balls. Okay, so there were 84 more yellow balls than brown balls. So brown more yellow balls. So yellow is equal to brown plus 84. Okay. So how many balls were there in the box? So yellow minus brown is equal to 84. Let me just swap in, right? So 7 units minus 3 units equal to 84. Right. So 7 minus 3 is 4 units equal to 84. Right. And then 1 unit is equal to 8. Okay. I'll just put equal. 84 divided by 4, which is equal to, so 8 divided by 4 is 2 and 1, right? 21 is 84. So total units is equal to 3 plus 7. 7 is equal to 10 units. So 10 units is equal to 21 times 10 equal to 210. So the answer to this is option number 3. Okay, let's move on to the next question. All right, question number 7. Which of the following is a nap of a cuboid? Right. So usually, if you remember stuff, number 2 is the answer. Okay. So this one, sadly, you have to, in a way, remember. You can visualize as well. So one side, if one of the side like this, then it should then be right. So let me write down some notes. So option number 1, these two should be opposite. Okay. So next one is for this, right? This one, and let me think. Yeah, and this one. Okay, should be, so it should be horizontal, right? Okay, and then for this one, this also should be horizontal. Okay, I'm gonna make this red. Okay, and this should be horizontal, right? Or I'll just put left to right, right? Left to right. Okay, that's roughly about it. Yeah. So this thing should be over here instead. I'm gonna make this like this. Okay, so this over here should be here. Okay, so this is the correct one. Okay, I'm gonna put like this green. Okay, so what I'll do for the same. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. Should be here. Then this one, this one should be here, and this one should be here, like this. Okay. Yep. So yeah, that's roughly just gonna put like this. Okay, should be horizontal, and this one should be opposite. So this should be opposite. Okay, so I think this is a better way to actually put some notes. Okay, so hopefully this makes a lot more sense to where it should be. Okay, all right, let's move on to the next question. Question number 8. Okay, so it says here container A, B, C are filled with water as shown below. Arrange the containers according to the volume of water they contain from greatest to smallest. So from biggest to smallest. I'm gonna write here now. So biggest. Okay, so that's greatest just now for biggest. Okay, so right now we just need to measure. Okay, it's a bit hard to see, so I'm gonna draw it out. Okay, it roughly looks something like this. Try my biased. Okay, so let's measure. So let's count gaps for each individual beaker. So we have, let me just put in red. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we have 10. Okay, so in this case, we have, I'll put 10 gaps is equal to 200 milliliters. Okay, and then for this we have one, two, three, four, five, roughly around six. So roughly six gaps, or around wait, yes, 200 divided by 10 times 6. Okay, so it's 20 times 620 lah, roughly around there, ml. Okay, let's move on to this. So it's 600 ml. So number of gaps again. We have, let me put yellow lah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So same thing. Okay, so for this will be 10 gaps will be 600 ml. 600. So this is 1, 2, 3. So 3 gaps, right, will then be 600 divided by 10 times 3. So 600 divided by 10 is 60, times 3 is 180 ml. Okay, roughly around there. Lastly, you have 300 ml. So this one we have, I think, around 5, right? So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 5 gaps equal to 300 ml, and then this only has 4 gaps. Okay, so it's basically 300 divided by 5, which is 60 times 4, which is 240 ml. 240 ml. Oops. Okay, like this. All right, so from here, where do you think what do you think the answer is? Okay, so I think it's pretty straightforward, right? So in this case over here, it should be the biggest is C, second is 180, and then third is A, right? So CBA lah, basically. So that's the answer. All right, that's it. Let's move on to question number 9. So 9 over here in the figure XQY. So XQY is a straight line. PQR is also a straight line. Okay. So XQZ. So XQZ is 90 degrees. So it's X, Q, and Z. Okay, it's 90. ZQW. ZQ and W is 130. And RQY is 35 degrees. Find PQW in this over here. Okay, so let me highlight the straight lines with a red line. So XQY is one red line and PQR is another red line. Okay, so that means, right, angle XQP, QP, which is this over here, is also equal to 35 degrees. Okay, so now we know that XQP is 35 degrees. I think we can calculate the rest already lah. Okay, so PQW, right? Okay, angle PQW is equal to 360, correct, minus 90, minus 130, minus 35, minus 35. You don't need, just 130 minus 35. That's it. Okay, so for this, let me just calculate, thinking 270 minus 130 minus 35. So this should be 140 minus 35. This should be 105 degrees. So that's the answer. So for this question number 9 is option number 3 in this case over here. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 10. Okay, so use the information below to answer question 10 and 11. The bar chart shows the number of chocolate, vanilla, lemon, and orange muffins Darren baked. The same information is represented in a bar graph, but the flavors are not shown. Okay, how many orange muffins did Darren bake? So we're going to order them first on which one is bigger and which one is smaller, right? So in this case, we know that chocolate, right, is biggest. Okay, so chocolate is biggest. Let me just put it. Okay, chocolate. So from arrange from biggest to smallest. Okay, so chocolate is the biggest. And then after that, we know the smallest is lemon. Okay, so in this case over here, which one is bigger, orange or vanilla? right? If you say vanilla is bigger, then you're right. Okay, you can use a ruler to just measure like what's the thing. So you see that if you put a right angle square, you can see vanilla is a little bit more than the orange. The orange still need to cross. Okay, so in this case, chocolate, and then vanilla, and then after that, orange, and then after that is lemon. Okay, so now we know this arrangement. Now we can go and see the graph over here. So let's see the number of gaps. Right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 gaps. So 5 gaps is 10. One gap is equal to 10 divided yeah, by 5. This will become 2. Okay, so for this one over here, let me put the 5 gaps roughly here. 20, this should be 22, right? So this 22. Then over here, this is around, let me just put a line over here. This is 32. Okay, so 32. Okay, so for this will be 22 like this. Okay, so the next one is let's see, I think it's 14. So let's see. Oh, sorry, this is 12. So right here 12, and then lastly this one over here, let's measure it. This is 18. Okay, so from here I think we can figure out which one is which, right? So the biggest is obviously is chocolate, right? Okay, then the smallest one is lemon. Then the second smallest one is orange, and the second biggest one is vanilla. Yes, people like vanilla. Okay, so how many orange muffins did Darren bake? So I think we can say like orange is 18. So the answer is option number 2. Okay, let's move on to question 11. So express the number of lemon muffins as a fraction of the total number of vanilla and chocolate muffins. So what we want is just lemon over vanilla, vanilla plus chocolate. Okay, so this is the fraction that we want. So what we can do is we can just put the lemon number. So lemon is 12, right? And then vanilla is 22 plus 32. So 22 plus 32. Okay, so this is the fraction. So if we were to make this into the actual fraction, is 12 over 12 plus 32 is 54 in this case over here. Okay, so 12 over 54, we also need to simplify. Whenever you see fractions, always simplify. Okay, so now the next thing is, what can you simplify? What can you divide basically in this case? So 12 and 54 you can divide by 6, right? So 12 you can divide by 6, 54 you can divide by 6. So 12 divided by 6 is equal to 2. 54 divided by 6 is 9. Okay, so the answer to this question is 2 out of 9. That means it's option number 2. All right, that's it. Let's move on to the next question. Question 12. Triangle XYZ has a perimeter of 32 centimeters. Find the area of the shaded part. Okay, so we know this is 10 centimeters, 10 centimeters. Okay, all right, so now we also know that, let me draw the line as well, that this 2 over here is an isosceles triangle because of this indicators over here. Okay, so xz is equal to, so we know the parameter, okay, which is 32 minus 10, right, minus 10, and this will give you 12 centimeters. Okay, so that means for xz it is 12 centimeters. Okay, if 12 xz is 12 centimeters, okay, then what about half of it? Okay, this is half, right? So half of this will be, how you spell lah? Half of xz is equal to 12 divided by 2. This will give you 6. Okay, so this is 12 centimeters. So half, or the shaded part, is 6 centimeters. Okay, so now I'm just going to put it like this. Take the line. So this is the midpoint essentially, like this. Okay, and same goes to the z part as well. Okay, so from here, shaded area is equal to half times base times height. So what's the base? Okay, so the base is 6 centimeters and the height is 8 centimeters. Okay, so we don't care about the 10 centimeters. So half times base times height is half times base is 6 times height is 8. So it's basically 3 times 8. That gives you 24 centimeters square. All right, so the answer is option number 1. That's what you see over here. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 13. The table below shows the number of files in bookshops A and B. So A and then percentage of read files and this. Find the total number of files in bookshop A and B which are not read. Okay, so bookshop A, that percentage that is not read is equal to 100 minus 25 equal to 75%. Okay, we're going to do the same with bookshop B. So bookshop B that's not read is 100 minus 60. This will give you 40%. Right. So now let's calculate bookshop A that is not read. It's equal to in this case 75% or 200 times 75%, which is equal to 200 times a fraction, right? 75 out of 100. Okay, so then we can cancel the 100 over here and the 0 over here. Okay, so that means it's just 2 times 75. Okay, so this will be just equal to 2 times 75, which is equal to 150 files that is not read. Okay, then let's move to the bookshop B. Right. Okay, so bookshop B that is not read is basically just gonna copy this whole thing again, paste it here. Okay, I'm gonna put a line as well. So bookshop B that is not read is 40% of 600. So 600 times 40%. Okay, so it's basically 40 out of 100. Okay, and then we can just change the numbers again. 600 times 40 out of 100. Okay, so we can cancel out the 100 and then cancel out the 2 zeros as well. So basically it's just 6 times 40. Okay, this will be 240. 240. So that means the total over here is equal to 150 plus 240 is equal to 390. So that will be option number 2 over here. Alright, so that's for question number 13. Okay, let's move on to question number 14. So question number 14, it says here ABE and ADE is an isosceles triangle. So I'm going to put here ABE, isosceles, ABE, and then ADE. ADE is ADE. It's also an isosceles triangle. That's what I see over here. Oops. Okay, so yep. Okay. Yeah, it looks like that. Okay, so AB is equal to AD. AB is equal to AD and AE. ACB over here. Oops. ACB is 85. Okay, they gave 85 degrees as well. And then ADE is 65 degrees. Find BAD. Right? BAD. Okay, so we know that this over here. Let me see that this is what we're looking for, the red highlighted one. Okay, so basically if we can get this right, I'm gonna put this as yellow. If we can get this, then and if we can get this angle, then we can get the BAD over here lah. Okay, because it's isosceles triangle. So we know that this is isosceles triangle, so the whole thing over here is also 65 degrees. Okay, so this is 65 degrees like this, right? Because of the isosceles triangle. And then we also know that this is 85, right? Okay, I think they've already added in nicely for us. Okay, so this is 85 degrees. So that means we can get this part over here. So let me just write down everything. So angle ECD is equal to 85 degrees. Okay, and then angle AED is also 65 degrees. So from here, okay, from ECD we can get angle CED. So angle CED is equal to 180 minus 85 minus 65. So I'm just going to combine the last two numbers, 180 minus 85, 140, 150. Okay, this will be 30 degrees over here. So let me just draw this in pink. This one over here, okay, is 30 degrees. Okay, so that means the orange one is angle what's this? Angle AEB. So angle AEB is equal to 65 minus minus 30. This will be 35 degrees. Okay, so this orange one will be 35 degrees like this. Okay, so okay, make it the darker one. Okay, so the next one is we want to get this DAB, right? So DAE, so angle DAE, which is same letters DAE. Okay, which is this one. Let me make this into a purple one, right? Is basically 180 minus 65, 65, right? So 180, okay, minus 65 minus 65, which is basically 180 minus 130. This will give you 150. Sorry, 50 degrees, not 150. Yeah. Okay, so now we know the purple over here is 50 degrees. Okay, all right. And since we know that this one is purple, okay, since we know that this is also 35 degrees, right? Then we can find BAD, right? So over here, angle BAD is equal to 180 minus 35 minus 35 minus 50. Okay, so it's 180 minus 70 minus 50, which is 180 minus 120, which is 60 degrees over here. Okay, so the answer to this is option number 3. Whew, that's very long for this, but yeah, there you go. Okay, let's move on to the last question. Question 15. So question 15 says 1/6 of the books in a class library were fiction books and the rest were non-fiction books. When the number of fiction books was increased by 100% and the number of non-fiction books increased by 50%, Mr. Lim found that he had an additional 168 books in the library. How many books were there in the class library? Okay, so in this case over here, let's convert. So 1/6, so is fiction. Okay, fiction is equal to 1/6 of books. Okay, so usually I just like to convert fractions to units. So that means fiction is 1 unit, and then non-fiction. Okay, and we know the total is equal to 6 units. So non-fiction is equal to 6 minus 1 equal to 5 units. So yeah, okay, this is the first part. Okay, the next part is number of fiction books was increased by 100%. Okay, so number of fiction books, fiction increased by 100%, which is basically 1 unit times 200, right? So it's just 100 plus 100%. Okay, this will essentially just 2 units. Okay, so next one is non-fiction increased by, oops, Non-fiction over here. Right. So non-fiction increased by how many percent? 50%. Okay. So non-fiction by 50%. Okay. So, and we know how many units, right? 5 units. 5 units. Okay. Increased by 50%. So that means 100% original plus 50%. Okay. So that means this will equal to 5 units times 1.5 essentially lah, right? Okay, and this will be 7.5 units. Okay, so now we know that we have the non-fiction increase, so we know the total 6 units. So total units additional books in units is equal to 7.5 plus plus 2 minus 6. That's 6 units, right? So basically it's equal to 3.5 units. Okay, so that means 3.5 units 3.5 units is equal to 168. Okay, so let's multiply by 2 so it's easier to calculate. 7 units equal to 32336 if I'm not wrong. So if you calculate 168 and then multiply by 2 in this case over here, so 8 times 2 is 16. Okay, and then we put 1 here, and then 6 times 2 is 12 plus 1 is 13. So 13, and then we put 1 here as well. Okay, and then 1 times 2 is 2 plus 1 is 3. 336. Okay, great. So then we can divide 336 and then divide by uh for this will be 7. Okay, so over here we can minus what is this 21, 28, 35. So 28. Okay, so 7 over here will be 4. Then after that this will then be 56. 56 and then minus 56. So 56 is 8 times 7. Okay, so it will be 48. So 168 times 2 will be 336. So 1 unit is equal to 48. 336 divided by 7. Okay, equal to 48. All right. Oh, is there enough space? Okay. Then after that, we want to get 6 units. Right. So let's put 6 units. Okay, is equal to, so 6 units just 6 times 48. And what would this give us? Okay, I'll just do 48 times 6. Okay, and this will give us, right? So 6 times 8 will be 48. So we'll be 8 here, and then put 4 on the top. 4 times 6 24 plus 4 is 28. So the answer is 288. So that's the answer lah, 288. Here you go. That's the answer. Alright, that's about it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want more of this kind of videos, subscribe down below and comment down what other things you want me to show you next. See you in the next one. Bye bye.